We're fixing to have a brief special here on LBL, one of my favorite territories, I guess, throughout the earth, or at least one of my favorite territories in America, pertaining to some diminishing law enforcement opportunities towards being able to mandate the area during a time whenever there's a call. I don't know exactly what's going on with the state of Kentucky pertaining to keeping their parks open, their national parks open, their state parks open. But it's pretty obvious that somebody up in Frankfort, Kentucky, isn't helping the people in land between the lakes. Maybe it's because they realized that they was dealing with a bunch of yahoos down here in that area that basically was treating people like they was some sort of prisoners or something in regards towards what that they have personally done in my life. Whenever you have a group of people, as a group, that has behaved the way that land between the lakes, Western Kentucky behaved, they all need to be shamefully disqualified in their positions. I don't care if they're in the science part of it. I don't care if they're in the agriculture part of it. I don't care if they're in the law enforcement part of it. I don't care if they're in the park service part of it, pertaining to maintaining various campgrounds, regardless whether it's Wrangler campgrounds, Piney campgrounds, or Hillman's Ferry campgrounds, or other campgrounds that I don't have time to mention right now. But all of them need to go home and seek employment elsewhere whenever they have set back and allowed for an individual to be not just railroaded, but literally an attempt of murder upon to my life whenever they poisoned me in LaGrange, Kentucky, after being ordered by Judge Woodall in Cadiz, Kentucky, in Trigg County, after being ordered because of the problems that Land Between the Lakes officials was having during the time that I was up in that area. Thing about it is, I wasn't even up in that area after making 2 telephone calls that was non-threatening. I was like 500 miles away in the city of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There was no way for me to be able to harm or hurt anybody, in addition to the fact that I didn't make any type of viable threat. And they went all the way to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, to drag me back before their mandated courts, the Commonwealth state of Kentucky, and in order for me to go get another psychiatric evaluation to be done. In the process of doing that, they ordered for this chemical to be put into my body that I didn't want. I was forced to have to take this particular medication of some sort called Risperdal, and because Risperdal causes obesity, it compounded the problems that was already going on in my life towards being incarcerated and being fed nothing but potatoes in the morning, potatoes in the evening, potatoes at night. And of course, if you're not getting proper exercise, you know what potatoes is going to do, right? It's going to put the carbs on you. It's going to put the fat on you. So between the pill that the doctor mandated from the judge of me being on, and between me being incarcerated in jail for almost a year, over 2 telephone calls that was non-threatening, they literally almost destroyed a human being's life. And to this day, I still have yet to get any type of confirmation towards why they done what they done, towards violating their own laws, because I didn't violate any laws. I didn't violate any judge's order pertaining to me being on probation and me order not to no longer contact them. The order that I was given was not an indefinite order. It was only for 2 years, and I maintenance that and honored that order from the federal judge in Paducah, Kentucky. So I don't understand how that a group of people has behaved this way is still in charge of a national park such as Land Between the Lakes. So by me saying all of that, I feel sorry for them in a way. And in another way, I can look and say, well, you know, because of the disturbances that you caused and because you tried to ruin not only my life then, but you tried to ruin my life by painting me or branding me like I'm some sort of a homegrown terrorist because I was trying to help you whenever I gave out a signal that God had given me to give to them in that area, that there was going to be major electrical disturbances. And about 1.5 years later, sure enough, there was. In 2009, major electrical 3.5 to 4 inches of building up ice on all the power lines. It literally looked like a bomb had went off in about 70 different counties in not only western Kentucky but middle Kentucky, and I guess it probably traveled on up towards eastern Kentucky too. I don't know. But I just want you to see this pertaining to Land Between the Lakes that has now been scheduled on Channel 6 News. I keep an eye on them. They don't think because of all the national news that I keep up with pertaining to the world affairs, they probably don't think that I'm really going to catch on to what they're saying about Land Between the Lakes, regardless whether it was the funds being owed or load, or a tugboat driver running off into a bridge and it literally causing a whole section to drop out, or them getting approval to build a bridge just beyond the Kentucky Dam after they had shut the Kentucky Dam and tried to make it out like that I had threatened the Kentucky Dam over me saying something about electrical disturbances. They don't think that I'm watching them up there in Paducah, Kentucky off a monkey's eyebrow pertaining to what that they're doing to individuals. And I'm sure that if they have railroaded an individual such as myself that's not even a Kentucky citizen the way that they have railroaded me, God only knows the other people that they have basically ruined on account of this type of unprofessional behavior. So let's watch this real quick. It's not but a few seconds long. Thank you very much.
Code 6, the Lyon County Sheriff's Department will not be responding to service calls at Land Between the Lakes later this month. Local 6 Jack Kane explains why.
It's a difficult task for the Lyon County Sheriff's Department to respond to calls in LBL. It's because they don't have the manpower to go out there. After October 24th, they will no longer be the primary law enforcement agency to be responding to calls. They will strictly be providing backup. Lyon County Sheriff Brent White says it's just because they don't have the resources, and it's also the United States Forest Service's area to cover. In Lyon County, Kentucky, Jack Kane, WPSD, Local 6.
Hey, Jack, thanks. And tonight,
There you go there. I don't know for sure.
couple of volts of light.
I don't know for sure where Lyon County is. I think Lyon County, if I'm not mistaken, Lyon County is up towards Aurora, going up towards Benton, Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not for sure about that. Don't hold me to that because I don't have a map in front of me right now. But the county west of there is Livingston County, and I know that Marshall County is on over towards Paducah, and I know that Trigg County is on the other side of both rivers. So I'm pretty sure that Lyon County is in the area that I'm talking about, but I couldn't bet on it. But once more, for a group of people to behave the way that they behaved in regards towards an individual up there praying and fasting for peace and praying and fasting for a revival, it's just remarkable that to this day I still haven't gotten any type confirmation in that particular problem that I faced. But then again, I haven't gotten no confirmation on other things that I have faced, either in Tennessee or Oklahoma or other parts of the country. So I guess looking at the pattern towards how that one agency basically has the same patterns as the other agency pertaining to Weakley County and Martin, Tennessee, and Kenton, Tennessee, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and different various parts of not only state but federal agencies in Western Kentucky. I guess because they all basically have the same characteristics towards they're not willing to do nothing unless you take them to court and sue them, unless you hire an attorney. Because of those matters, it has drawn worser and worser and worser towards the problems at hand. They have basically brought condemnation pertaining to the judgment of God upon to not only their lives, but upon to the lives of innocent people. That began a long, long time ago, and anybody that's familiar with my story would be familiar with this one too as well. Let's watch it one more time in regards towards land between the lakes.
The Sheriff's Department will not be responding to service calls at Land Between the Lakes later this month. Local 6 Jack Kane explains why.
It's a difficult task for the Lyon County Sheriff's Department to respond to calls in LBL. It's because they don't have the manpower to go out there. After October 24th, they will no longer be the primary law enforcement agency to be responding to calls. They will strictly be providing backup. Lyon County Sheriff Brent White says it's just because they don't have the resources, and it's also the United States Forest Service's area to cover. In Lyon County, Kentucky, Jack Kane, WPSD, Local 6.
Hey, Jack, thanks. And tonight at 10, Jack sits down with the Lyon County Sheriff to explain how the situation developed to this point. More news where you live.
So maybe later on tonight I'll get part B pertaining to what they're talking about here in Land Between the Lakes, that I have spent so much dear time with a group of people that wanted to basically destroy me from the time that I first walked off into the woods in 2007 after a telephone call had come into their presence of my biological father that told them that my son was on the way to LBL. Stop him at all cost, because he's on a cop by suicide mission. From that moment on, I got agitated, aggravated, dogged, falsely accused, ridiculed, and went through three major evaluations. One in Mayfield, Kentucky at Four Rivers Behavior Center, the other one in MCC in downtown Chicago, and the other one in LaGrange, Kentucky, over a group of people that obviously was protecting the devil and did not want peace, did not want to see a revival, did not want an individual up there praying with a sword symbolizing peace on earth pertaining to the opening of the first seal. These people was caught red-handedly, and to this day, I still hadn't got no confirmation. So be it as it may, as things fall apart, as things get worse, as death toll grows, as more suicides, drug overdoses, gun violence, all the above continue, you have no one to blame but your previous officials, as well as your past tense of officials that began during the Ronald Reagan and Bush era, going all the way back into the up into the 80s, the late 80s, in regards to this movement. Good luck to all of us as we end our program, and shalom.